Okay, let's dive into this. We are literally hours away from the opening match of the 2026 World Cup down in Mexico City. And, if you thought the expansion to a massive 48-team tournament was going to bring enough chaos to the pitch, well, FIFA just dropped an absolute bomb on the laws of the game. Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to break down a sweeping, fundamental rulebook overhaul that has literally just been handed down right before kickoff.
Here's the roadmap for our explainer today. We'll kick things off with the 2026 rule overhaul, and then we're going to break these drastic changes into three specific categories: the end of time wasting, banning player drama, and curing the Lazarus effect. Finally, we'll wrap up by asking the big question: chaos or cleaner football? Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The 2026 Rule Overhaul. So, this is a drastic rulebook overhaul that will fundamentally change the beautiful game. Listen, we aren't just talking about a minor tweak to the margins of the sport here. Oh no, FIFA is aggressively targeting the classic, everyday annoyances of modern football. You know exactly what I'm talking about, those dark arts of the game that fans constantly complain about, players constantly exploit, and managers literally coach their squads to use. From this tournament onward, the entire tactical landscape is shifting.
Section 2, the end of time wasting. And this is where we see some of the most aggressive changes.
5 seconds. That is your new magic number. Think of this kind of like a shot clock in basketball. Referees are now going to enforce a strict, highly visible 5-second countdown to resume play on throw-ins and goal kicks. So, absolutely no more casually strolling across the penalty box like a player is looking for a lost contact lens while the clock just painfully ticks down in the 89th minute.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how serious FIFA is right now. Under the old rules, if a goalie wasted time on a goal kick, the referee would, jog over, maybe show a yellow card. Now, the opposing team gets a corner kick. Just imagine the sheer stress of this hypothetical scenario. A keeper decides to take 6 seconds to tie his boot in the 90th minute just to kill the clock, and suddenly, as a penalty, he has to defend an in-swinging corner kick from Kevin De Bruyne. Are you kidding me? A corner kick is practically half a goal for a team with big center backs. It is a completely brutal, game-changing penalty.
But wait, the clock doesn't stop there. 10 seconds. That is exactly how long a substituted player now has to completely exit the pitch. We all know the classic routine, right? A player whose team is winning by a goal gets subbed off and suddenly decides to do this slow-motion pageant wave to the entire stadium, shaking hands with the referee, taking his sweet, sweet time. Well, that era is entirely over. Substitutions just became an Olympic sprint.
So, the absolute crucial point here is what happens if they don't make it off in those 10 seconds. The penalty is severe. The oncoming player is banished from entering the pitch for a full 60 seconds of live play. That means if your winger decides he wants to milk his exit for applause, your team is going to be punished by having to play with 10 men for a full minute of action. Seriously, if you're a manager, you are benching that player for the rest of the tournament for sure.
Moving on to Section 3. Banning player drama.
Swarming the referee is strictly forbidden. From now on, only the captain may approach the official. I mean, we've all seen those messy moments where a controversial call happens and suddenly a pack of 6 angry players completely surrounds the poor referee like seagulls at the beach fighting over a French fry. That is totally done. Any player participating in that swarm will be booked immediately. FIFA is handing the power and, frankly, the personal space right back to the refs.
Now, what's really interesting here is this quote, which essentially sums up the brand new mouth-covering rule. If you can't say it loud enough for the microphone to hear, don't say it at all. You know how the modern footballer loves to play secret agent, right? Covering their mouth with their hand or pulling their jersey up over their lips while arguing with an opponent or a ref just to hide insults or slurs? Well, under the new overhaul, if you cover your mouth while arguing, it's a straight red card. No debate, you go straight to the dressing room. Even if post-match analysis shows you were literally just yawning, the referees are absolutely not taking any risks.
Section 4, curing the Lazarus effect. Let's get into the physical side of the game.
The Lazarus effect, the act of a player pretending to be severely injured only to sprint at full speed 20 seconds later. We are finally ending the era of blatantly fake injuries. We all know this one. A player rolls around on the grass like they've literally been hit by a sniper, holding up the game, forcing the medical staff to run out with their magic spray. And then, miraculously, 20 seconds later, they are sprinting down the wing at full speed. It's a classic football frustration. Well, I have some terrible news for the magic spray industry because they're about to take a massive financial hit.
So, FIFA actually found the cure for the Lazarus effect, and it's a super simple two-step process. Step 1, an outfield player receives on-field medical treatment. Step 2, that player must stay off the pitch for a full 60 seconds after play resumes. As we established, playing with 10 men for a minute is tactical suicide, which means this rule is going to miraculously cure about 90% of those late-game cramps. Suddenly, players are going to realize their hamstring actually feels pretty great. Now, keep in mind, goalkeepers are naturally exempt from this because, well, you can't exactly leave an open net for a minute while the keeper sips water on the sideline.
Section 5. Chaos or cleaner football.
Let's move to and see how this builds out the rest of the rulebook. Because this tournament is taking place in the intense North American summer heat, there are now 3-minute mandatory hydration breaks in each half just to keep the players safe. On top of that, VAR has been granted massively expanded powers. The video assistant referee can now actually step in to check second yellow cards, which are effectively red cards, and they can even intervene to check controversial corner kicks, and that is absolutely massive when you consider that brutal new time-wasting penalty we discussed earlier.
Will these rules save the game or ruin the tournament? Look, it is a tremendous amount to digest right before kickoff, which leaves us with one massive, lingering question to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Will forcing players to be honest and significantly speeding up the pace of play give us the fastest, cleanest football we have ever seen? Or are these strict new penalties going to result in the most chaotic, red card-heavy World Cup in history? For sure, keep your eyes on the referees tonight because they are holding all the power. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and enjoy the tournament.